Today we'll be talking about all the remaining teams in VCT China, EMEA, and Americas. Mainly focusing on their chances of moving to the finals as well as picking who will win it all in their region. I have to be honest with you all. I did not want to do this video for one specific reason. When it comes to EMEA and Americas specifically, I want all 8 of these teams to go to Madrid. Each of them have a pretty cool story and things to be excited about. Unfortunately, only 2 from each region can move on. So I decided for EMEA, I'm gonna pick with my brain, and for Americas, I'm gonna pick with my heart. China will be a little bit of both. Let's start off with EMEA's kickoff tournament, and what's probably going to be the highest viewed opening playoff match in this region. Karmine Corp versus Fnatic. KC for their large loyal fan base who are cheering for this revamped team that are taking down other competition that people thought were better. And then there's Fnatic, who people are going to be watching because they're still the best and they want to see how the highest level of Valorant is played. Or they're rooting for an Empire's downfall. Without a doubt, Fnatic is seen as the favorites for a number of reasons. One of which is that they only played 2 maps, while Karmine Corp has gone through EMEA's gauntlet with 12 maps played. Fnatic just has so much more data on them. However, they didn't change too much from their Lotus and Ascent team comps since last year. The only difference is that instead of Astra and Lotus, they use Omen, who is typically picked on this map anyways. So Karmine Corp could use past data on those specific maps. It still won't be an easy task because it's Fnatic, the team that was the most dominant and only lost to 2 orgs all of last year, Loud and Liquid. While on the other hand, Karmine Corp has been on fire lately, and at this point it's safe to say Group A was in fact EMEA's group of death, since Heretics was also in that group and beat Foot too. KC then just cruised through play-in by not dropping a single map. A lot of this was on the backs of Martin, who apparently was a Fortnite pro, as well as Magnum and Nerete. Overall, it's impressive that a team full of former duelist mains have been able to pull this off, especially Nerete. In my opinion, initiators are the hardest class for a duelist to transition to. Typically, when you see a duelist play initiator, you can see their numbers drop. Yes, there are exceptions, but the list of successful duelists to controllers is larger than duelists to initiators. We've seen many entry fraggers like Som, Demon 1, and now even Tens still put up big numbers on controller, which just makes Nerete's performance that much more wild. He dropped 40 kills on Foot while playing Fade. It did take 38 rounds to finish, and I do have to mention that at times they go through crazy swings in results, like how they got beat up by the likes of Team Heretics 13-4 twice, and losing the Foot on Bind by, you guessed it, 13-4. Maybe you can sum it up to inexperience. Nonetheless, their run has still been impressive, and this young core of players for Karmine Corp have huge upset potential, which is why my heart is saying to pick them, but my brain is screaming it's freaking Fnatic. They still have a cracked Sentinel who's addicted to dropping 3 and 4Ks, one of the most slept on IGLs who's pretty clutch and bolster, Chronicle who just knows how to win games, Leo who has been mentioned as one of the best players in the world, and Durka who can hit shots as well as dodge them. So I have to go with my brain here and pick Fnatic. Next is Team Heretics and Na'Vi, another tale of the new guard versus the old. Team Heretics swept through their groups by narrowly beating Foot Esports twice, then went on to just dunk on Karmine Corp, mainly on the backs of the brotherly duo Boo and Mini Boo. Benji Fishy has had some cool moments too, and yes, it's the same Benji Fishy who was a pro in Fortnite. They did this all with the help of Petty Tech, who's a stand-in for them since Wu is too young to compete. Na'Vi also just ran through their groups with ease. From top to bottom, they've been solid. Well, maybe with some questionable decisions by Angel, but that's nothing new. It's also crazy how we're living in a world where Artist is playing better on Yoru than he is on Jet. Unlike Fnatic and K-Corp, my heart and my brain are saying Na'Vi beats Team Heretics. If they somehow lose, then it's because of the Boo brothers, the same brothers who have the highest ratings in all of VCT. It's a small sample size, but still remarkable nonetheless. So in the finals, it's same old, Fnatic versus Na'Vi. Fnatic did beat Na'Vi in Lock-in 2, but Artist wasn't with them then. If this finals does happen, it will be exciting to see if Na'Vi does a lot better with Artist on the team versus how they did with CNED. My heart wants this year to be Na'Vi's bounce back because they're just full of comedians and it's fun to watch them play. However, my brain is still screaming at me to pick Fnatic to win it all. Now let's go over to China and talk about EDG versus Trace Esports, which has some upset potential here if EDG comes out with the same effort they did in their group stages, where they almost lost to Wolves. I can see this team suffering from overconfidence similar to how Paper X did in their games. In my last Chinese Valorant video, I saw some people praising Fang F, and it turns out they have a point. Looking at this man's stats alone would lead me to believe he's a top 5 player in China. Typically, it's been him and Kai dominating the competition. Their coach name is Destroyer too, which is pretty sick in my opinion. At the end of the day, EDG should beat them if they take this team seriously. And to the surprise of many people, Dragon Ranger Gaming has made it to the finals versus FPX. DRG has the chance to be the only Ascension team to make it to Madrid. They went against the likes of Titan Esports Club, who had the likes of RB, the same RB who was on DRX. What makes this impressive is that Titan Esports went on to beat JD Gaming, who were seen as the second best team in China, which I'm sure isn't the case anymore. Overall, Dragon Ranger Gaming proved that their Zenkai boost during Ascension was not temporary. They've been carried by the likes of Fukashu, a Russian import whose stats just make him look like the second coming of After. T-Virus Luke was another player who was an important piece to them getting into Tier 1 China too. However, he hasn't been that impressive in DRG's first 2 games. While FPX on the other hand has some familiar faces in life who used to play for both EDG and Attacking Soul Esports, he was pretty decent against the likes of DRX and Masters Tokyo. Ayang is still here and he had flashes of greatness against EG. Autumn is an Australian import who is this team's duelist. The interesting thing about them is that you don't know who will pop off. Each player has a strong map where you can see them dominate in against other Chinese competition. FPX in my opinion is a deeper team, but DRG just seems to get better after each game they play. I truly feel like this is a coin flip game and should be pretty close too. I'm gonna go with DRG to Madrid. It would be a more interesting story in my opinion, since they will be the only Ascension team to do it. And if EDG actually tries to win this game, then I have them moving on. Hopefully they don't pull a Paper X in the finals. And that leaves us with the Americas. And let's start off with NRG versus Sen. I think most people will say that NRG has the advantage here since they played less maps and are most likely hiding strats, as well as having a coaching staff known for drawing up counter plays against their opponents. But on the other hand, Sentinels have looked more impressive due to them having to actually try against harder competition. My brain is screaming NRG, but my heart is saying Sentinels. I think this could happen if Sentinels ban Breeze, or at least have Tens play Yoru on that map. Currently, the combo of Zekin opping on Jet with Tens on KO isn't getting the job done. And I think this will be a scary map for them to play on since they'll be going against Demon 1 who is opping now too. Bind will be another map that I can see Sentinels winning on since there's no way we'll be seeing Max on Raze. Victor is good on that agent, but if Billy can beat his Raze, then I have faith that Sentinels could do the same. Of course, NRG could just ban it like they did it against both Furia and C9. My best guess is that the maps that we'll see are Split, Ascent, and Lotus as a possible third. No team in the Americas has yet to play Jet on Lotus, but NRG might be the first. I believe Sentinels beat NRG on Split or Bind. Ascent is a toss-up just like Lotus. Let me know down below who you have winning though. Now we have Loud versus Evil Geniuses. A battle of past world champions, tacticians, and masterminds. The questions coming into this game will be, can Potter come up with a counter strategy against Loud's meta-defining comps? And whose in-game adjustments will be better? Both of these teams in the past have shown us not to sleep on them either. Again, I want all of these teams to go through. Loud are seen as the favorites since they made it out of the group of death, while EG are a last-minute put-together group of players. If EG bans Ascent first, then they may have a chance, but it's Loud, guys. I don't think EG beats Loud with Deadlock either. It might have worked on G2, but I doubt it will on Loud. My brain is saying Loud, but my heart compels me to pick EG. I want that underdog story to continue in Madrid. That leaves us with Sentinels versus Evil Geniuses. If this does happen, then obviously both of them would like to win this game, but I could see both teams also being relieved to qualify for Madrid and play even looser here. I think Sentinels have it in the bag though.